Welcome everybody to my channel. My name is Lavinia, and in today's video I am actually going to be making the page for the prompts for the hashtag beauty and the bee. And the prompts are green ribbon and gems, and this is hosted by Polly. And I found that I didn't have any green ribbon, so I remember Polly in one of her videos was mentioning about if you don't have the ribbon, maybe you can color it in. So I have here white ribbon. I've had this for such a long time. It was probably like my mom's, this white ribbon. I used up all my green ribbon for one of the Christmas trees, or the Christmas trees that I was making for my craft fair last year. So I have this Sharpie-like permanent marker from Master's Touch in green, and I am just going over it to make a green ribbon. So I'm going to continue with this, but hang in there because I am going to be making my page with the green ribbon and the gems right here. I'll be right back. All right, so here is my green ribbon. I'm going to go ahead and let that continue to dry as we get into the project. So what I have here is my sketchbook, and this is my plan for my page. So if you want to follow along, have a pencil. Now I am going to be using these Statler water brush pens that you've seen me use before, but you can use color pencils if you'd like. You can use acrylic markers. You can use regular watercolor paint, but this is what I have and what I'm going to be using. I have various shades of green, blue, and these little orangey tan colors. And I also have, again, my pencil. This is just a mechanical pencil. Any pencil that you have is fine. But I also have my Micron PN. This is archival, which means it's also waterproof. And so this PN stands for plastic nib. So the nib is just a little bit thicker. And if you don't have this, you can use a regular marker. You don't even have to use a marker. You can use a ballpoint pen. If you search on YouTube, you can see some fantastic artists that just use ballpoint pens and make absolutely stunning artwork. So don't worry if you don't have any of these. You can even just leave it in pencil. And so I have my watercolor or my water brush, a little tub of water here. And let's see, I have my sticker book because that's what I'm going to be using for the doll. I decided I'm going to use these two little dolls here. So little twins. And so I'm also going to be drawing these Zentangle inspired flowers. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and then I'm going to draw also these little bees. So I also have this border, which I showed you in my previous video that I used. I got these at Michael's, and I like this, so I'm going to go ahead and use this as a fence. It's like a fence here. And I also have an eraser just to erase some lines, the pencil lines. So, and as far as for my base, this is one of my pages, my book pages. Just a little bit of blue tape, but one of my pages that I put gesso on. So this is already prepared, and I'm just going to go ahead and start. So I'm just going to take some of the greens. I'm going to water. Oh, and I also have my my watercolor rag. So that's pretty much it that I'm using. But again, you can use color pencils, but I thought I would just go ahead and, do this along with you if you'd like to join in. So just putting down some greens. I'm using the thicker nib. There's a thinner nib and a thicker nib. So using this for the base, like where the greenery would be, the grass. And again, the gesso just helps keep that page be water resistant. And then maybe I'll start putting in some blues. So here's a very pale blue. Put that down, maybe this darker blue. It's really dark. Grab my water brush. Start mixing that in. This is a really fun collab, so I hope you join in if you'd like to. You don't have to do all the prompts. This is just a different blue. It's more like a sky blue. And I think maybe I'm going to use a little bit of this orangey color. They don't have the colors listed, but this is like a yellowish. Maybe this ochre, a little bit darker. Get that out of the way. A little bit more of this green. Yeah, so this has been definitely a fun collab, and I'm enjoying it very much. Still haven't finished the fairy core, but I have some pages that I completed. I just haven't uploaded the videos yet. Let's see, let's go back in maybe with a little bit more of this darker blue. And maybe a little bit more of this lighter blue. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and let it dry for just a little bit. So I'm going to pause the video here. And sometimes, you know, if there's extra water, you can always dab on that. That's what I do with my towel. And I might even, let me see, I might even get my heat tool and help speed this up. And when I dry my pages, I like to use it here on the top, and I also go on the back. I don't know, it just seems to not make the page curl as much. Okay, and that's dry, and I think I might want to go back in with just a little bit more green. Maybe a little bit more green here, as well as I like this ochre. I call it ochre, I don't know. This darker yellow color down here. Get my water brush and just add that a little bit more. I also like this here. It reminds me of like a cloud that's just naturally formed itself. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take my heat tool and have that dry. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, it's dry, is I think I'm going to go ahead and put the stickers of the doll in there first. So I'm going to put them right here in the middle. Then I'm going to take the ribbon, and this has really stiffened up with that permanent marker on there. So what I'm using the ribbon for, these are going to be the stems of the flowers that I'm going to put here. So I think I'll put one here. Got my scissors. We'll see how this turns out. Maybe I'll make this straight. So let me get my glue. I don't know if that's too long. I think I'm going to shorten it. So I'm just using Fabri-Tac here. We'll see how this works. Put one there. And then maybe just another one over here. Got another piece. I like this idea of being able to use these markers and then coloring in, especially if you want to make a custom ribbon color. All right, so got that there. Maybe I'll bring it down just a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and place this as if it's the little gate or their little fence. And I think I'm going to use just a regular glue stick for this. This is just that purple Elmer's glue stick. And then we're going to draw in the flowers, and these flowers are called Gemhold. Gemhold. I don't recall who the designer is of that particular tangle, but I thought since the prompts were gem and ribbon, that who says a gem has to be like a sparkly gemmy. I am going to be making the flower, and it's going to be holding a pearl, a drawn in pearl. Okay, so here we go. So this is going to be the stem, and then let's say from here, but I'm going to go ahead and draw in the gem. I'm not necessarily great at making circles. You could always use a quarter or a nickel or anything like that. So from there, then I'm going to go ahead and make sort of like that infinity sign. So coming here, or a bow, and coming here. And then from here, it's just pretty much, I'm going to start from out here and make some more petals. Here too, just make some petals coming in that are holding that gem. And that's where the eraser comes in. Whenever I have an eraser, if there's like dark graphite on it, I'd like to scrub it off. But I'll go ahead and erase these lines that are in here. In fact, I might just erase these. And then, so from here, I'm just going to make it as if that petal is curved. You know, you're seeing the side of it. And then maybe from here too. And then from here, then I'll put that base. And I'm going to go over this again with the ink, but there's that first flower. And then I'm going to color it in also. So maybe over here, maybe I'll just put this straight line up here, and then this will be where that second pearl is. And then again, I'm just going to start where it curves and making sort of that, kind of like that infinity sign or a floppy bow. And then just from here, bringing those petals in. And then here, back in. Like that. And then let's go ahead and put a bee. So let me see. Maybe I'll put a little bee. Well, I'm going to have this is where my holes are going to be punched, so maybe I'll put the bee over here. So I'm just making just like a little oval, and maybe I'll put its little antennas. The wings, and then just a little semicircle here. Probably didn't need to color that in because I'll color that in with black, but that there, and then maybe over here is where its little face is with a little smile, and just over here, this might be another band. So that's the little bee. So going to go ahead and take my pen here, and then this is just where I'm just going to go ahead and with that, just going to go over those pencil lines. So if there's anything you want to adjust, you can go ahead and do that. There's no need to rush. There. You can always turn your page upside down, again, whatever's comfortable for you. Get that there. Let's go ahead and make the little bee. Its wings. When we were little, me and my brother, we used to, the great big bumblebees, like kind of like the big ones, kind of like the one on that bumblebee tuna, you know, those big ones, you know, the big yellow and black ones. We used to actually pet them. So if they were on a rose or whatnot, we would actually pet them. They were nice and soft and velvety. We never got stung, fortunately. So I'm going to color this in with the black. Get his little stinger. And that's not something I would do with a yellow jacket or anything like that, because those, I'm sure, would probably sting. Just going to leave a little bit of a white space there for its eye. Then come here. And do the same thing. As you can see, I'm not exact there on my pencil lines, but just go slow. And I might come in with my color pencils actually and color in these flowers. Or maybe even my pastel pencils. Okay, get that, that. And we're almost done. So I'm gonna grab my pastel pencils, I think. I don't know if I want pastel. No, maybe I'll get my color pencils on this type of paper since it has the gesso and the watercolor on there. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm using my Shuttle Art pencils, and I pulled out Wisteria, Rosy Pink, Medium Orchid, Shallow Pink, and Pink. Because I thought I would do that in pink to bring out the pink that's up here. And I think I'm also, may even do some leaves here. Let's go ahead and put some leaves in. I'm not even going to use the pencil. I'm just going to mimic the petal there. Just like that. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and see. Maybe I'll use this. This is wisteria here at the bottom. I'm going to put in some medium orchid. Probably should have used the eraser first to erase the pencil marks. Let me do that. Okay. I don't want the video to be too long, but again, just wanted to show you that you can use mixed media. You can use watercolor, you can use ink, color pencils, you can use pastel pencils, you can use pastels, oil pastels, chalk pastels, glitter pens, you know, whatever you have on hand. Just take them out and give them a try. And I hope you give this a try. I mean, it's just a fun, relaxing flower to make. And so let's see, maybe for the inside, I will use this pink. And again, because it has that blue underneath, it does give it a little bit more of a purplish tone. And if a little bit of that blue shows up, that's okay. That just highlights. We went to a lake today, my husband and I. We haven't been there in years, but I guess they recently, they let out 30,000 gallons. I'm not sure, something like that. I mean, the level was really low. We were shocked to see how low it was, but I don't know, I guess they were doing something with the lake, so they let out all that water. It was like, wow. And then we did a hike to a ruin, an ancient ruin, climbed on top. I did take a video, so I may show that video at a different time. Just gonna put a little bit more of that wisteria there. And let's see. This is that shallow pink. So I may use this here. I actually kind of like that as a highlight. So I'm not going to color the whole thing in because I do want it to be like a gem. So maybe just a little bit here. Let me see if I can get a lighter pink. Well, this isn't called pale pink, but it seems to be darker. So I think I'm going to use this one for the edge. And then this shallow pink just to kind of go over here, but I want to give it that sense of roundness, you know, that sphere shape to make it look like a gem, like a little pink pearl. don't know if I want to get my blending tools out, but I may do that just to blend it. But let me get some greens out also to do the leaves. Okay, so I have clover green for my lighter shade and dark green. So I'm going to put this dark green down. And then this lighter green. All right, and I think I'm going to get my blending tool. All right, so my Prismacolor colorless blender, and just in case there's anything on here, just going to quickly blend that in. So you can see it just smooths out the paper. I think that works really nice on the pearl. So that's my take on the gem. Like I said, I was thinking of adding a gemmy, but then I thought I would think outside the box and do it this way. And then the last thing I have is this gel pen. This is a Master's Touch. I actually have it in this case and forgot all about them until I showed something last time when I was doing something with my color pencils. Like, oh, I forgot I had these in here because I haven't really used these color pencils in a while. I guess I could take off a little bit of that. Just do the leaves here just a tad bit. Okay, and then, like I said, I'm just gonna use this just right here. Just put like a little shine mark. Probably use my white gel pen, but I got this. And maybe also here on the bee. And color in its little... Oh, I guess I should color in his body with yellow as well, huh? This is light orange yellow. Perfect. All right, so I am actually going to go ahead and glue this down on just a piece of scrap, put in my 3 punches, snip that and trim it down just to make sure it fits into the rest of the disc system set. But here's a close-up. So those are my gem flowers, my whole gems is what they're called, the ribbon. There's the doll, their little picket fence that they're underneath, and of course the bee. So again, check everyone else out, and I hope you like this. If you have any questions, let me know. But again, I just wanted to do just a little video demonstration this time. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.